Hey you guys, it's me, Tracheotomy. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do this week's appointment setup so you guys can know what's going on for this week. Because this week is gonna be a big week for me. The first thing they're gonna do is I have to get a CT scan of my neck. A CT is so that the doctor, the surgeon, was to look and see if any way he can get all the scar tissue and if it's possible for us to go on it with the surgery. This week I'm also gonna learn whether or not I will get the surgery. I am praying that I get the surgery. Also, I told you guys about bariatrics, and so this week I'm gonna have some counseling with bariatric surgeon. This is gonna be like a long week, you guys. Oh my god, this week is it's gonna test my endurance. Hey guys, so today is the day for the next CT scan, and I am super nervous. I don't know what to expect. All I know is that they're gonna do a CT on my neck, and they're also going to do a trach change. So, let's go, Ray.
Something about it still feels strange. Like looking in a mirror, trying to steady yourself and seeing somebody else. And everything is not the same now. It feels like all the lives have changed.
I hate leaving my mom and Corey up there.
Oh, okay. So, you're running the stage first. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, all good. Okay. Take a couple deep breaths, okay?
That was the problem I was having.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I got your trach, okay, we're good. Nice and stable here, okay. Air out here, okay.
Yeah.
I know. Okay, a little better, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is you laying on your back like this, and so we're slicing it like a loaf of bread like this. So this is your jaw, this is your spine, this is the back of your throat right here, and then we're going to come down into your neck. Here's your voice box and your vocal cords right here, okay? This is the upper part of your windpipe, what we call the cricoid ring, which adapts the voice box to the airway. And then here's the first 1 or 2 rings of your trachea that actually look pretty good, okay? And then right above the trach tube, you see we lose the black. That's where that complete stenosis is, and that's why you don't have any voice, because there's no pathway up to the vocal cords from your lower airway. Here's the trach tube coming into your airway. We can see from right above your trach site all the way along the tract of the tracheostomy tube. There's no black or very little black around the tube, right? So this is your stenosis. That's where the trachea is very narrow. And then just past the trach tube, things open back up again, and the trachea looks very normal. So when we look at the length of the narrow portion, it looks stable from where it's been in the past. It's still what we would consider a fairly short segment of trachea. So if I measure from beyond the trach tube where things open back up to just above, it's about 3.5 centimeters long. It's about that long, okay? We got to do something, right? And I think you've kind of come to that conclusion too. I think the risk of you living completely dependent on your trach tube is just too great. And I really, really worry that the next time we run into trach tube issues that we're not going to be able to get the tube back in, or there could be a delay and you could have a stroke or something bad could happen. So I think we're talking about a major operation. Okay.
Okay.
The question is, what's the right thing to do? I know we had talked about potentially going in there and grafting that area open with some rib and maybe putting in a skin graft. My concern with that is I think the structure of the trachea in that area is going to be really floppy because it's so narrow, so I don't know if it would support a graft. This still looks like a pretty short segment of trachea, so I think we should do the definitive cut out that portion of the trachea, sew the trachea back together. I know we had talked about how to make that as safe as possible for you, so I would plan to do that while keeping a trach. We would just move the trach a little bit lower in the windpipe down below where we reconstruct or sew the trachea back together. So we call that a 2-stage tracheal resection and reanastomosis. It's a major surgery. It's about 6 hours. It's generally about 7 to 10 days in the hospital. First couple of days are in the ICU. The major considerations for recovery. For the first couple of days, we put a cuffed trach tube in with a balloon inflated, so you wouldn't be able to talk at all initially. The surgery itself, when we remove trachea and we have to sew it back together, I need to do that in a way that's as tension-free as possible. Because if they're pulling on each other, there's a risk of the trachea pulling apart. So that means a couple of things. One, I do some stuff to help
drop your
that
voice
creates
box,
some
lower
swallowing
your
difficulty. Okay,
It's temporary.
that creates
but it
can
can
sometimes last for a month or even longer.
It's
temporary, but it
So
can
everyone
sometimes
wakes up
last
with
for a
a
month or
feeding
even
tube
longer.
through their nose, down into
So
their
everyone wakes up with a
Okay.
feeding tube through their
And
nose.
I'd say about
down into
half
their
of
tongue.
patients go
Okay.
home with a temporary
And I'd say
feeding
about
tube.
half of patients
Still in their
go
nose.
home
Nothing
with
that
a
has to be
temporary
put in
feeding
the
tube.
Okay.
Still in their nose.
Nothing that
The
has to be put in
second
the
is that you're in a collar.
Kind of like someone
The
who's had a
second
neck
is that
injury.
you're in a collar, and that's
Kinda
not
like
to
someone who's had a
immobilize
neck
your neck
injury.
necessarily.
It's more just to keep
And that's
you
not
from
to immobilize your
pulling
neck
your neck
necessarily.
out.
It's more just to keep you from.
And so as you guys can see, it didn't go as planned. It was kinda dramatic even though I am so happy that it didn't last that long. It was still dramatic because the whole sensation of not being able to breathe is just, nobody would know it until you go through it. It's not a good feeling whatsoever of having somebody else's life in your hands. But I am glad that it came and they was able to get it in quickly. I was still pretty overwhelmed. Shedded a few tears, which I cut out because I did not want you guys to have to go through another video of me crying. I mean, yeah, it was something, but looks like I have major surgery to go through. They planning on doing this next month, so I'm gonna need all you guys, all my warriors, to pray that this be a good outcome. The surgery is 6 hours, and I'm gonna be in ICU for about 8 to 10 days. I want to thank you all for coming and sticking around, and for ones that watched my video all the way through. My warriors, you are the bomb. I'll talk to you guys soon.